Divergence example on the euro dollar. And as you can see, we just made a lower high here, but we have made a higher high in the stochastics. That's the very definition of hidden divergence. Now, what I would like to see is for the current bar to actually close below the low of the previous bar. So in this case, this is your high right here. And we want this bar to close beneath the low of the current bar. That would be a confirmed hidden divergence pattern. Now let's wait and see if it actually does it. As you can see, this is my first YouTube live, and what I would like to see is for this bar to close below the low of this bar. I am in demo mode because this is the first time I've ever done this. So we'll wait and see what happens here. I'm going to add a horizontal line at the low of that bar, because this is where I would like to see it close beneath 1.1700. And that would be ideal. Right now you can see it's going back and testing this high. It has not invalidated the potential divergence. Again, we're just waiting for the reversal candlestick to form. If you have not seen the video that I have on YouTube on price bars, it is listed in the candlestick patterns playlist. It's probably about 40 minutes, but it's a really good video. I do suggest that you watch it and then try to draw the patterns yourself. You'll be surprised at how much you learn by doing that. Now, this is a 15-minute chart. The expiration on this is 3 p.m. So you have about an hour and 25 minutes. There's no rush. You can see that I do have the pivot points on here. It just broke below S3. It may come up and test S2. We're just waiting and watching. I would really like to see sellers step in here. I don't know that they will, but it looks like they might just step in here. I have to wait and see. Now, currently, if you wanted to sell this binary, you could actually sell it for $37.75 a risk. I'm going to place that order. You can see that it's a gray box. That tells me the order has not been filled. Now, if you really want in quick, then you would go ahead and click the gray box. But as you can see, it filled the order just sitting there waiting. And you can also see this is a bar that's very reminiscent of sellers stepping into the market. I do have on my other screen the volume that's telling me that sellers are actually starting to step in. The Nadex platform does not offer the volume on the underlying. And I can actually show that to you. You can see on this bar they went up, and this was the open of the day. Starting at midnight, you can see they went up, they tested it, and as soon as they tested it, that's when the sellers started stepping in. And that's actually what I wanted to see. You can see that the hash mark is going below zero, and then ticking up again, then going below zero. That tells me that sellers are starting to step in. We'll see if it makes a difference. You can also see that there is an ATR directly above. That's the 30-minute chart. So this is a combination of a 15 and a 30. You can clearly see the hidden divergence on that chart. If you just connect the dots, literally, you can see that the stochastics was going up while the price actually made a lower high. That is hidden divergence. And that's exactly what you want to see. Now, because price was trading above the strike at 1.1698, this is considered an out of the money binary, even though it was within about 2 to 3 pips of where the strike was. During the morning session of the US market session, you typically cannot get that good of a price on these binaries, but this time of the afternoon, typically you can. One of the reasons that you can is because the volatility decreases at this time of the afternoon. And it doesn't take a lot of volatility to actually get a really good deal on the binaries. It's just dependent on when you're watching it. Now, just looking at the chart, I would expect them to come back and test this prior low here. And that's what I would be looking at. That's around 1692, which is about 6 pips from where we are currently in price. A little bit more than maybe 8 pips. that you can see, even though this bar looked like it was going to be a bullish bar, they kind of fooled you, because then the sellers started stepping in. I noticed it because I was watching the volume indicator here, and it clearly showed that the hash mark was below 0, which showed that sellers were actually stepping into the market with the hidden divergence pattern. Typically, that is an excellent pattern for entering the market with an out of the money binary. We do have just about 30 seconds before this bar is complete. It is a 15-minute chart. What I would like to see is that the next bar continues down as well. In other words, I want another bearish bar. And again, if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see I have a candlestick pattern playlist. And there is a video that I just uploaded that shows you the candlestick patterns. If I move this over, you can keep up with the P&L over there. And I can also shrink this chart a little bit for you. And let me get my chart back. I'll just pin it there. Now, on this particular binary, there is an hour and 13 minutes remaining. More likely than not, I would not stay for the hour and 13 minutes. I like the really quick trades. The short that is indicated here is from the binary signal strategy. And these are typically when they have the hidden divergence, especially when you see sellers stepping into that move. It's a really nice move that is created with that. I would like to see more sellers stepping in. That would be ideal. And again, this is my first YouTube live. I do plan on doing more of them, and I'll have them posted on my website at tradershelpdesk.com on the blog. And so if you click blog, then it'll take you to the blog, and I'll have a schedule there when I'm doing these live sessions. I think it's also on my YouTube page when I go live as well. Now, I want to actually also go down to a 5-minute chart. So I'm just going to open another chart. And I'm actually going to change it over to a 5-minute. That's useful for seeing when there's a reversal bar coming early. Now, I don't know if you have watched some of my other videos, but I talk about a bear trap, and you can actually see that right here on the 5-minute. And I love the bear traps that actually have the hidden divergence on them, like we saw in this example. On a horizontal line. And if we just draw a horizontal line off of this high here, you can see that they came and they closed above it here. It is the next bar that actually tells you that was a bear trap, because this bar enticed people to go long and then they reversed it. And you can always tell when it's a bear trap because you have these big candles after the bear trap. Now, this is probably a very small bear trap, okay? But again, if you learn to trade the hidden divergence and you can spot the bear traps, man, Nadex gives you an excellent way to trade them because you have limited risk. Because, for example, on this one, we had right at $38 of risk, and we're not far from having a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. But now you do see that you're starting to be overextended here. So this is where I'm going to say, well, I'm not going to lose the profit that I've got here. So I've kind of got my finger on the trigger to get out of it if I need to get out of it. Come on down. I don't like the way that bar is forming, so I'm going to go ahead and exit. But you can see this was a great example of just going ahead and taking a trade when the conditions are right. And in this case, we had hidden divergence. We waited until the sellers stepped into the market and then actually went in. And we had just a little bit under a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio on that, but we were in the market probably less than 20 minutes. So I hope you enjoyed the live session, and I'll have more of them. So be sure to subscribe to my channel so you'll get notified.